Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. It is episode number 57 today. We're continuing on our series of looking at every Premier League club and previewing their season to come. And today, we're on to Manchester City, of course. The reigning champions, Man City. Quite an interesting one. We did the runners-up yesterday, Liverpool, so if you haven't watched that already or listened to it, make sure to go do that first. But Man City now, a very good last campaign, obviously. Premier League champions, you can't really expect much more. But in other cup competitions, where they're usually dominant, say the Carabao Cup, failed, and of course in the Champions League were knocked out in the semi-finals by Real. So, this season, do you think that the Champions League will hinder their Premier League campaign?
I don't know. Obviously, they haven't won a Champions League. They want a Champions League.
Yeah.
They've won the Premier League. What? I mean, under Pep, they've won it 3 times.
4? No, something like that. And I think in the last 5 years they've won 4 of them,
which is mental. And obviously, last year they were knocked out of the semis of the Champions League, semis of the Carabao Cup, semis of the FA Cup. They're going to want to do better this year in those competitions. As you said, the Carabao Cup's usually when they dominate him.
I do think they could slip away in the Premier if they're going
it's what I'm saying.
Champions League.
Yeah, the FA
focus.
Cup. I don't know if they want that. I don't know if they care. It's a trophy at the end of the day. And the big Champions League will be the big one. And I do think that could cost them. I do think that them focusing with the fixture congestion next year, if they focus on the Champions League and other competitions, it will mean that the Premier League will be hindered. And that could affect their title charge next season.
Which I don't think they'll be too aggrieved if they are to win the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly.
If they were to get to the final and lose it, or get very far and lose it, and they've already thrown away their Prem campaign,
100%.
Interesting. The thing is, I do think they've got enough of a strong enough team to fight on all fronts. But regardless of that, I still think there's a chance they throw everything at the UCL and play the weaker sides in the Prem and maybe throw away some easy wins here and there.
Definitely.
And especially with because obviously the fixtures are usually congested across the season.
Yeah.
They were last season, but this season it's going to be so congested with the World Cup coming in November. They're pretty much going to be playing Premier League, Champions League for a good few months.
Yeah.
Like there are some weeks off, but then there's Carabao Cup games to fit in there as well. So there's going to be a weekend game, a midweek game every single week, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think Man City will prioritise the Champions League. Obviously, they won't prioritise the Carabao Cup over the Prem. That would be insane. But I do think they will play their better players in the Champions League and save them for the Champions League rather than play them in those games. I think teams like West Ham at the end of the day can give them a surprise. I think if there is a team that's going to have a bit of a shocking first day, it will be Man City losing to West Ham. Because West Ham are a very good side.
Losing your first game can always offset your whole season. Because you're already 3 points behind all your
3 points off everyone else, at least. But yeah, looking at the last 5 years, City have won 4 of the last 5. And then obviously in the last... Well, they've won 6 since 2011. So yeah, pretty much in the last decade.
Yeah, they've won 6.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's pretty mental. But yeah, I do think this could be the year where they start throw away.
Yeah, definitely.
If they prioritise it. Because I think they're so desperate for that Champions League that they might forget the league.
And as we talked about before, you got Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham and Arsenal who are all within a shout in the title race next season.
There's going to be clubs up there to challenge them.
Definitely.
Should we do our squad keep or sell then? Goalkeepers. Stefan Ortega Moreno has just joined. He's going nowhere. Yeah. Edison isn't leaving. Scott Carson is another English. He ticks the English quota. He's fine. And then Arjanat Muric
sits around.
He's there, I guess. But goalkeepers, other than like a few clubs where the goalkeeper could be leaving or potentially a goalkeeper change is needed, you tend to be keeping the goalkeepers from season to season to season. It's not a position where you frequently change it up. On to defenders then. Kyle Walker.
Obviously a keep.
Definitely a keep. Ruben Diaz.
Obviously a keep.
John Stones.
Obviously a keep.
Nathan Ake.
Keep him for the backup. Obviously he was rumoured away, but...
I was going to say, it looks like Chelsea is still in for him, but Chelsea could prioritise Kimpembe or Koundé potentially.
Yes, they got that.
I think if you get 40 mil, you've absolutely robbed Chelsea there.
Yeah, I suppose.
So if you're Man City, you sell Nathan Ake. Cancelo, who switched his number to number 7, which is really interesting because I saw a bit of a kick-off on Twitter because people have already bought Cancelo shirts, number 25, not expecting him to go to number 7, and then Man City obviously can't do anything about that. Which is why you shouldn't buy players' names.
Yeah, it's your own fault. If the numbers haven't been released
yeah,
yet, what are you doing?
I mean, that's kind of what they were complaining is that we can't all just not buy shirts until the start of the season, and they're saying that the number Cancelo shouldn't have switched from 25-7. That wasn't a number you could expect to change. No. So there's not much they could do. But I don't buy a shirt with a name on the back until you know the numbers. And even then, Ronaldo might join and just take the number off whoever has it. So be careful if you're fighting a number 7. Alexander Zinchenko,
looks like he's
already going to Arsenal. I think that's fine, but they're going to have to replace him.
They've got Cucurella and Cancelo on that left-hand side.
Cucurella does not look like he's... Brighton are rejecting City's offers of 30 mil. City don't want to push to the 50 mil that Brighton want.
They might need to look elsewhere.
Which I don't really understand. It's only 20 mil more. City are well within FFP, probably. Or they'll just cheat anyway if they go over it, so it's fine. On to midfielders then.
Defenders?
I'm Eric Laporte is there.
Keep.
They are quite weak defensively though. It seems to be Man City's problem every year.
That's what I'm saying. If you sell Ake, you're only looking at Laporte, Cancelo, Diaz, Walker, Stones.
Yeah, centre back options. You have Laporte, Stones, Diaz, and then you turn to the likes of Wilson, Esbrand to be backups. Well, I think Walker will also. I think they could play a 3-back.
Yeah.
If they're bringing, especially if they're bringing Cucurella.
If you play a 3-back and then sell Ake, you leave one reserve centre back. So you might want to keep Ake around.
Potentially. Yeah, or at least replace him if he is still. Apparently, they are interested in Josko Gvardiol.
Yeah, I saw that.
From Leipzig. So if they are to sell Ake, that would make sense. Especially since it's pretty much the same price.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're getting a step up in quality as well. On to midfielders. Calvin Phillips, obviously, has just joined. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. I think that's a very good signing, though. Anyone criticising it, you're just wrong. It's exactly what they did with Rodri. Fernandinho was still going to start, but they brought in Rodri to learn under him and to get minutes and then to be adjusted and acclimatised to the team and the league before Fernandinho retired. And now Rodri is a fantastic DM, and Fernandinho's left. Calvin Phillips will play a similar kind of role. He will be a little bit part as it starts with Rodri, but I also think on top of that, it gives him a little bit of an option in that midfield. Phillips and Rodri could play together.
Yeah.
And then if the two are more... I mentioned this in the Liverpool pod, but if the two are more defensively, it gives players like De Bruyne and Foden and Mahrez more creative freedom just to bomb out the pitch.
Yeah.
And then if they lose the ball, Phillips and Rodri will be there to sweep up. So I think that does give them options. Ilkay Gundogan.
Keep. He had a great season last season.
Fantastic. Better the season before. Last season a little bit lackluster, but he's a really good backup. And considering they've already let Sterling and Jesus leave, they've already lost players, and I don't really know what formation they're going to play at this point. Yeah. You just need to hold on to players.
Anyone.
Can't sell them all.
No.
Jack Grealish.
Keep, obviously.
Yeah, I think he should start in the midfield. I think they could go 3-5-2.
The problem is with Grealish is he has to stay obviously now because they spent 100 million on him. There's no way they're going to sell him to anyone for more than.
But I think if you play him, if you give him regular minutes, he'll do well. Yeah. I think if you put him in the midfield 3 with Rodri and De Bruyne, and then Haaland and Foden up top,
not bad.
I think that would work very well. But I don't make decisions. Pep does. Rodri, obvious key. Yeah. Kevin De Bruyne, sell. Get him gone. Portsmouth, loan. Cheeky, I think he needs a season away. No, of course, keep. Bernardo Silva.
Keep.
Phil Foden.
Keep.
But on Bernardo Silva, though, if they do get an offer from Barcelona of 80 mil, are you not at least tempted?
If they get enough money.
So I think at £80 million, it's a decent deal.
Yeah.
Decent little deal. Especially since they have got so many options in the middle with Phillips, Gundogan, Grealish, Rodri, De Bruyne, and Foden all able to play there. And James McAtee coming through as well. And yeah, I don't think midfielders are too hard to come by at Manchester City. Forwards, especially in wide areas, a little bit harder to come by. But they have got some very good strikers. Erling Haaland, Julian Alvarez. They've just joined. Don't be going anywhere. I think the two of them joining, though, does play into my 3-5-2.
Yeah.
Theory. Because I think Haaland and Alvarez up front together.
Definitely.
Interesting.
Definitely.
I do think, though, Alvarez will play a lot more than everyone expects. Because I don't think Haaland will get through the campaign without picking up an injury.
Yeah.
And if it was similar, if we see similar scenes as to what happened with him at Dortmund, he was out for about 4 months last year with an injury. This league's more physical, so there is a higher risk of injury, and he's going to be playing more games.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is much chance of Haaland staying fit throughout the season. I think that he could have a really serious injury,
Which could be
similar to last season. And then you see like Julian Alvarez having to start every match because after that it's Liam Delap. But I guess Foden's shown he can play that 9 role very effectively, so there is options.
Or just
but
whack anyone there.
or De Bruyne, he's done that job as well. So there's definitely options. And then Riyad Mahrez is like their only natural winger left.
Wow.
I mean, obviously Foden's shown he can play out there,
Obviously
and Grealish, I guess, as well.
Silva.
But I'd say he's more of an attacking
No, they could all
winger.
they can all play wing.
Yes, I know, but in terms of natural wingers, Grealish and Mahrez are the ones left.
Palmer,
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think a loan move though for Cole Palmer is what's needed. No?
Oh no, yeah, no.
Okay.
I was only joking. I don't like it.
Why not?
I don't know.
I think a loan move for Cole Palmer to a Brentford or a Fulham.
I think
Perfect.
It's too high.
Really?
Yeah, okay, but top championship.
Maybe Norwich.
Yeah.
Potentially that
Watford.
could work.
Maybe not Watford.
I was going to say maybe not Watford.
Burnley.
I don't think Burnley. I mean, to be fair,
EDM.
Company's there now.
Yeah.
That left-hand side with Martin and Palmer could be different gravy. Anyway, yeah, Cole Palmer I would loan. Potentially McAtee. I'd loan as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he's really up to standard to start, or at least get good minutes. And then Delap, loan as well.
Yeah.
He's shown he's decent, though, and he can do a job. He did well in the Under-19s Euros.
Yeah,
Send him to a Fulham or something as a backup, potentially.
Maybe.
Could work very nicely. And then if they decide to do what they did with Mitrovic last time round, he'll start every match, and Mitrovic will be on the bench. But alas. Transfer stuff, then. Jesus and Sterling have left.
Yeah. So Zinchenko.
Zinchenko also looked like he's going. What do you think of that?
No.
What do you think of Sterling and Jesus? They're losing 2 attacking options, replacing them with Haaland and Alvarez. Do you think they've done well there? Because it's pretty much the same money.
Obviously, when you look at it and you go Haaland in and Jesus out, you go, oh, that's fantastic. But I look at their depth. We just did that squad keeping set. In that forwards department, they only had Haaland, Alvarez, and Mahrez.
The problem is Jesus brought versatility, which Haaland does not. Haaland will be starting through the middle every single game. Alvarez, similar fashion, cannot play in the wide areas. I know Jesus couldn't really when he joined, but he was developed over a few seasons.
Well.
They won't have that this campaign now because Alvarez can't adapt that quickly.
You look at Haaland and say Jesus, you go, okay, Haaland. But then you look at, so technically they've brought in Alvarez and got to replace Sterling. They're not the same player.
Okay, just for anyone out there, if you thought Sterling and Alvarez was the exact same person, just want to clear up, they're not.
No, you get what I mean though. Alvarez is a striker, Sterling's
a
winger.
No,
so they've lost a winger for a backup striker. And as I said, they're very scarce.
It's really confused me why they're not going in for another winger. Because Rafinha was available for 60 mil. That seems to me like an easy Manchester City.
Especially
Snap him up.
Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Unless they're planning not to play any wingers next year.
That's what I'm thinking. I think again it plays into my 3-5-2 of them not just going fuck it, we don't need wingers, but then they need a centre half. So City need to do something here because their squad actually, other than central midfielders where they got 90 of them, they're really bare bones now. City.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to give more minutes to youth, but
half of those 90 midfielders can play on the wing.
I get that, but all it takes is an injury to Mahrez, an injury to Foden, and suddenly your only wide options are Bernardo Silva, and that is it.
Yeah,
Cole Palmer.
Even Mahrez, if Mahrez and Haaland get injured, you've got a front three of Foden, Alvarez,
Bernardo Silva. Which again is really strong. But if Foden was then to get injured, you're looking at
Grealish.
I forgot about Grealish. If Grealish was then to get injured, Cole Palmer.
Maybe
so that's
enough wingers.
Yeah. I just think the depth's a little bit lacking.
Because they're not out. They're not.
Because also what we forget to say there is obviously with the amount of competitions they're going to be playing. If there was an injury, that player's then starting every week. Not every week. Sorry, every 3 days. Exactly. 3-4 days. So that is a lot of workload on an individual.
They get injured and you have that front three of Foden, Alvarez, Bernardo Silva. That front three would have to rotate with
Palmer.
Grealish, Delap, Palmer.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is not what you want starting in the Premier League.
Obviously, I do think it bodes well into that 3-5-2 because they've not got anyone who can only play on the wing other than Mahrez, and Mahrez was looking at leaving anyway.
Yeah.
So I do think they'll change formations though. I think we could see the 4-3-3 at times. I think we could see the 3-5-2. But we could also see a 3-4-3.
I do think if they go 3 back, they're going to need another centre half, especially if they sell Ake. But as you said, Josko go up.
Gvardiol can play in a 3-back as well.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Like for like replacement. I think that's fine. And I think they're getting an upgrade in quality, I'd argue.
Definitely, and they'd rip Chelsea off if they sold Ake for 40 million.
Especially after Chelsea sold him for like 12.
Yeah.
That's transfer news then. On to some loose predictions. I'm going to say Man City will get Champions League football next year, but I don't think they'll be right at the sharp end for the title fight. But I do think they'll be right in there for the Champions League.
I think Supreme, I think they'll be up there and then they'll kind of fall away at the end because I think they'll be like Liverpool. They'll still be in every competition towards the end of next season. And rather than let what Liverpool do and let the champions lose the Champions League, kind of, you get what I mean? I think City will fall back in the league, win, maybe go really far in the Champions League, get to the semis, the final, and then same in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, and I think they'll start to fall away in the league.
But as much as City are going to be focusing on the Champions League, I don't know how much that hinders them. Because you'd imagine if City are in the semis, I think Tottenham could still be in there at that point. I think Liverpool could still be in there at that point. I think Chelsea could still be in there at that point. We could see an all-English semis. Because I think the only other team... It would be horrifically dull. I think the only other team that's really on the level of those four is Real Madrid. And potentially Juventus.
Yeah.
And maybe Bayern. But that depends on how good Mane does.
I don't know why you don't think Barca.
I just think Xavi's inexperienced. The squad is just full of mercenaries at the moment.
I don't know.
I think Lewandowski changes a lot. Because Aubameyang is meh.
You've got a front three of Fati, Lewandowski and Rafinha.
I also don't think they know their best... I forgot about Rafinha as well. But I don't think they know their best front three.
You got midfield. Because
there's going to be so many... There's going to be such disgruntlement in that team.
Pedri, Kessie and Gavi. Or Busquets. Or anyone.
It'll be Kessie, Pedri, Gavi.
Exactly.
Frankie, if he stays...
Frank de Jong, if he stays...
I agree.
Nice.
It's a good team.
It's very nice.
I just don't think they're ready yet to go for a Champions League.
We'll find out, won't
we? We will indeed.
It might be that Real Madrid go far in the Champions League and Barca win the La Liga.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. I still think that Real side's stronger than the Barca team, and they've lost.
But you talk about not lost anyone this year. But I still think that Real would beat Tottenham.
I don't.
Liverpool.
I really don't think. I think it'd be very close. I think if you look at that Tottenham team and the manager they currently have, I think it's a very close game.
Conte's won the Champions League, right?
Conte's not. And that's why I think he will push harder for the Champions League than the Premier League.
I know, but...
He's won the Premier League with Chelsea. He has. As much as it would be nice to obviously for Tottenham...
against the likes of Ancelotti, who's won it 5 times. Tuchel, who knows how to win it with that Chelsea team. Klopp, who's won it with that Liverpool team.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think that Tottenham side's really strong.
Tottenham, but I look at them. How many of them have played? I mean, obviously some of them were there for the
I was going to say they were all there in 2019.
Battered in. Musa Sissoko.
That was only 1-0. It was the most dull final ever.
That was dreadful.
Other than all the other recent finals.
We've had some... To be fair, last year's was probably the best one we've seen in
recent history,
years.
Since
Chelsea City.
Liverpool Real in 2022
Chelsea City
is the only one that came close to the 2018 final. Between Liverpool and Real.
Chelsea City, obviously, as Chelsea fans, it was great, but
it was a dull game.
It was a dull game.
It's a pretty dull game.
Tottenham, Liverpool might as well turn off after the 5th minute.
PSG Bayern are just two clubs no one gives a toss about. They're just two teams that dominate their domestic leagues.
Yeah.
They've won them by February, and then they can focus on the Champions League.
2018, Real Madrid Liverpool always give us the best final, but also I want Chelsea to be there and win it. But yeah, City, I think they'll be up in their Champions League and fall off in the Prem.
Interesting. I think they'll get Champions League football. I think they could finish around 4th or 3rd or 4th. I don't know if you asked about that. I think Guardiola will win the Prem. Off he pops.
Yeah.
Sorry, win the Champions League. Off he goes. I think that's the one thing he now wants to win at City.
Yeah.
And then that's it for him. And I don't know. I think he could do another season, but I don't know. And then you look at who replaces him. But that's for in a year's time.
Yeah.
when City have thrown away the Champions League again and Guardiola's still there for another season. Yeah, because they've bottled the Prem as well. So hard. They bottled it so hard they've ended up in the Europa League.
No, they should go win the Bangkok Century.
As long as they win that, they're alright. They weren't even in it this year, so I'd argue they're horrific.
Yeah.
Liverpool to finish runners up to United because United have that Bangkok Century Cup record to go off. Right. That is all for today for the Manchester City episode. Tomorrow will be Manchester United, a very interesting episode indeed. So Man City fans, obviously, make sure to join us there, where you can hear us slate another Manchester club. But I don't think we're slating Man City, but Man United.
Yes.
Let's see what happens in that one. Anyway, that is all for today. If you're listening on Spotify, head on over to the YouTube, get involved, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Just hit everything you see that looks like it can do good things. And if you're on YouTube, head over to Spotify and do the same. There's loads of fun buttons on there. You've got downloads, you've got add to episodes. I don't really know what they do.
Follow
but
the podcast.
We've got 1,000 downloads now on Spotify, which is a really, really good achievement. We've got listeners in like 16 different countries. That's pretty fun. So if you are a listener that's, not from one of the 16 countries, hello for that, get involved. But yeah, that is all for today. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.